Hey, it's Ella. Thank you for being here with me. I am super tired, which you can tell by like the all of this mess under my eyes here. My hair is still wet, but um, I don't know, but this video might get kind of long. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for being here with me. And wow, today was intense. It seems like every day is in some ways more intense than the previous day, in other ways easier than the previous day. Um, so I just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. So, big thing for me this morning was, okay, I guess I should start with last night. Um, I had trouble sleeping last night. Once I finally got to sleep, I slept fine, but I had a really difficult time falling asleep last night. I got some pretty disconcerting words in a text message yesterday um, that kind of really, it kind of changes everything. And initially, um, changes everything about where I'm going to be living when I leave Bali. So, yeah, isn't that interesting? So yesterday I got the text in the middle of the day and I was just kind of reeling from it, and it immediately popped me out of this intense immersion yoga teacher training that I'm in. And I was, whatever. Luckily I had two friends available to kind of help me use my tools and calm down enough so that I could then turn my focus back to learning the material that I needed to learn yesterday and to be able to focus. So, but it was still bothering me last night. And then it was really bothering me this morning when I woke up. And I also was just feeling super tired, super low energy when I was going into this day. And I was just like, you know what? I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm showing up. I'm showing up in the room. And, whatever happens, I'm going to roll with it. Okay. So, um, yeah, this is just like, oh my God, I can't believe this all happened in one day. So, this morning, one of the things that we did in our practice was a supported headstand. So basically, it's a headstand up against a wall, and your shoulders are on blocks, like enough blocks to give your head enough room, um, or using two chairs with like rolled up mats on the chair, whatever. There also is an apparatus you can buy now that is specifically for doing a supported headstand. Um, so I didn't really understand the whole obsession that a lot of yogis have with inversions. Um, and it's worth mentioning that I have always gone out of my way to avoid being upside down my entire life. Um, Even as a little girl on the playground, I would not ever hook my knees over the bar and hang down and swing like basically everybody else did. I never did that. I was terrified. And I don't know what it comes from. I have no idea what the source of it is. Um, all I know is that I have avoided being upside down for my whole life. Okay, so in like gym class, doing like somersaults, that was terrifying for me. I cannot do a cartwheel. I have never been able to do a cartwheel at this point. I don't really care. I don't have any desire to do a cartwheel, but yeah, simple little things like that that I've never done. Um, so when it comes to inversions, in yoga, I was like, I'll just skip that. uh, so thankfully, we do have an amazing teacher, truly, and he would not let me escape this. I will say that, um, so let me just, he called me up to the front, in front of the whole class. And so he starts to get me to put my head down between these chairs on a mat, and I start having an anxiety attack. And I'm just starting to feel extremely anxious. And so he's like, okay, come back up. And he's like, are you ready? This is a challenge. I'm challenging you basically. Like, you don't have to do it, but you're supported. You will be safe. You will be, like, there's nothing that could go wrong, basically, um, because everything was set up correctly, and I knew that I would be safe doing it. And so he's like, "Are you up for the challenge?" And I was like, "Yeah. If not now, then when? When am I ever going to do it? If I don't conquer this fear, this intense fear right now, when will I ever?" So, so I did it. And after watching the video, I was actually upside down for close to a minute. Um, I was feeling I just, it's so simple, but being upside down, I felt this immediate and intense rush of emotions. And while I was upside down, it was just a rush of feelings. And then but it didn't feel like intense emotions or feelings at that moment. I was just like, something big is happening and I don't know what. That was more what it was. It was more like just basically panic, essentially. But I was actually okay enough in the pose. Just like Deep kept trying to talk to me, and I was like, I can't. Like, I had to close my eyes. Um, it was very, um, it just was incredibly unnerving to be inverted. Okay, so now you know that. Um, so I came out of it, and that's when all of a sudden, like, the emotions were like, here we are. We're coming out now, through your eyes, through your nose, through your mouth, all of the ways, tears, sobbing, etc. So, and I felt these emotions coming from my belly, which is really unusual. Most of the time when I'm feeling intense emotion, it comes from my heart. So I actually went outside and sat down by myself and just sobbed for a while, and um, and then finally calmed down. I was able to. I mean, it was a huge release, and I don't even know what it was, honestly. And sometimes identifying what is not the most important thing. What is important is allowing the emotions to be there, and then, release. That's the important thing. So, um, after I finally calmed down, I actually went into meditation. not really, like, not really on purpose. It just happened. Um, yeah, I just went into meditation and I just kind of took myself, like the words that Deep was saying to me while I was upside down. He was saying something like, just imagine yourself, you're at the beach. And he's like, you like the beach? He's like, sunny beach or cloudy beach? And I was like, whatever. Like, doesn't matter. Just, yes, beach is good. As long as the water is clear, was what I wanted to say, but those words didn't come at the time. So I took myself in the meditation to my special place, which is on the rocky cliffs of Kennebunkport, Maine. There are a whole bunch of benches in Kennebunk and Kennebunkport that have been donated by different families who have lived there for long, long periods of time. Anyway, so one of those benches I like to sit on, and it's a perfect place to watch the sunset and just to hear the very soothing, amazing sound of the ocean crashing against these rocks. Um, it's I don't know, it's suddenly I'm just transported to a whole other world when I imagine myself there. And then I kind of moved to seeing myself walking along Old Orchard Beach in Maine, which it has the sand is surprisingly light in color. It's not white, but it is very, very light colored sand. And the water is so beautiful. I mean, you can, in the summertime, well, especially in the summertime, you can, when the sun is really shining down, you can see right through it. I mean, it resembles the Caribbean in that way, which is really surprising considering that it's Maine. Um, so anyway, I was imagining myself just walking along that beach and just feeling really, really peaceful. And then I felt this deep, deep sense of longing to be there. And I was like, I have to go to Maine. I have to go to Maine. When can I get to Maine again? I actually had been going, I have gone to Maine almost every year since 2010. And, but it's been a couple years now since I last went. And I was like, I have to go. I have to get there. And, um, and then I came out of the meditation and I didn't feel any better. In fact, I felt worse. I just felt this sense of heaviness and this sense of incredible sadness. And I had no idea what the sadness was really about. I just, lots of gears turning in my head, but not everything quite coming together just yet. So then, throughout the rest of the morning, and you know, Deep, that our teacher, he kept checking with me, like, how are you? How are you going? And how are you feeling? And I'm just like, oh, I'm sad, which is true. I still felt miserably sad, deeply sad. The feeling was just so heavy and so intense. Sadness was the only real label I could put on it, but I know there's more to it than that. Um, so after lunch, he came over to me again and was like, how are you feeling? And I was like, sad. So he walked me through a beautiful process, really helpful, to kind of take that intense feeling out of my body and see it as something in front of me instead of being like inside of me. So essentially, he walked me through putting that intense heaviness into a container so that it wasn't plaguing me and my body. So I could come back to the present moment. I could come back to the training. I could come back to learning And knowing that that thing is still over here, but it's not something that I have to deal with right this moment. So, and after that, then I felt better. So, um, and then during lunch or after lunch, yeah, I guess it was at some point after eating lunch and after that process, um, I a friend of mine happened to be online. Oh yeah, it was like afternoon break. So a friend of mine happened to be online, and so she kind of we chatted a little bit, and I just sort of started to voice what all of the things that had been swirling inside of me since yesterday. And it hit me that all of these all of these indicators are leading to I'm not going to be staying in Austin. Um, so yeah, that's a pretty big thing because initially I was fully planning to build a life there. Um, but here's the thing. If I stay there, I'm still settling. I'm still, because really where I want to be is Maine. That's where I've wanted to live for years. Actually, since the first time I set foot there in, I think it was 1999, that is where I have wanted to live. And now is the time, basically. There's no better time for me to finally move there than now. So, um, but it's just all of these things swirling, and I do know what the heaviness is about. It's about a relationship. Well, at least I know what part of the heaviness is about. It's about a relationship that I have wanted to have, and the person that I want to have the relationship with lives in Austin, without me being super explicit and specific about exactly who I'm talking about. Um, so yeah, the person that I have wanted to be with for half my life, literally half of my life, lives there. And I took the invitation to stay with my friend, um, to as kind of the leap, I took the leap of faith, and then to discover that this person that I've wanted for 22 years, we are just like, I'm here and they're like way over there somewhere as far as mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, especially emotionally. We are just, it is not meant to happen. It's just not meant to happen. And so the heaviness, or at least part of this intense heaviness that I was feeling, was honestly grief, because it was just like a gut punch, so profound of like, oh, it really, like, this really, really is a dead end. Really, really, really a dead end. And wow, that hurts. And wow. So, you know, we were talking this over, several of us talking this over at dinner tonight, how life presents you, the universe presents you with these choices over and over and over again, and you slip into these patterns and you make the same choices over and over and over again until suddenly you don't, until suddenly something clicks and you're like, oh, I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to make a different choice this time. So while I have known that this relationship would never come to fruition, I've known it for at least a month, maybe longer. But there was something about the message I got yesterday and being inverted and this intense training that I'm doing. There was something about it that just brought everything to a head and is like, no, no, the pattern stops. No more settling ever again. Like, that's the message that I keep getting constantly in my life over the past few months. No more settling ever again, ever again, never, never again. So, my intention, even though I knew that this relationship would not come to fruition, I was like, well, but I still like Austin, so I'm still going to stay and build a life there. No, because I have wanted as much as I love. There are many things I love about Texas, but I have wanted to leave Texas for a long, long time. And it's not really that I want to leave Texas; it's that I must get myself to Maine. I I just need to be there. I need to live there. And so it's like everything just kind of came to a head today and was like, okay, you're going to understand this now on a cellular level, on a universal core level. You're going to understand that you are not settling, that you are letting go of everything that does not serve you and everything that does not belong to you in the first place, so that you can go to this place that you've been called to live in for 20 years. So there you have it. Wow. So the rest of the day, like once that finally clicked for me, once I realized, what all of these, the significance of, the sequence of all of this happening and just the culmination of it, like once it resonated with me, I was like, oh, oh. And then it was like, okay, now I have all this frenetic energy that I need to release. So we actually got out early, a little early tonight. And so I was like, hey, does anybody want to do, I said ecstatic dance because everybody, at least most people in the group, seem to be familiar with ecstatic dance, or they all actually do ecstatic dance. So I said ecstatic dance, but really I meant five rhythms, a flow, just to do a wave of the five rhythms. I was like, anybody want to do it? Because we have this beautiful space and with hardwood floors, which is the best for dancing, the best. And everybody was like, I'm tired. And I was like, well, I'm going to do it by myself then. So I came back to my room, grabbed my music, went back, grabbed my dance shoes because yes, I brought them. I grabbed my dance shoes and went back to the shala and danced my tuchus off and released so much, everything that needed to be released. So, yeah, so that happened. And then afterwards, I'm just like, I'm feeling all like blissed out and peaceful. So, um, yeah, big, big, big things are happening. And yeah, so I will not be staying in Austin. I'm finally going to go to Maine. So I definitely have a lot to do once I get back from Bali. Um, but it's all good stuff because it's all going to be towards the next phase of my life. And I am just stupid excited about it. So I feel like, I mean, this feels so right. It feels like just exactly the right thing. So, um, yeah, I I am really excited. So, yeah, I don't think I'll have trouble sleeping tonight either. So, anyway, that was my day in a nutshell. Lots of other things happened, but that's the crux of it. Pretty big stuff. So, and interestingly, there are quite a few people here in this taking this training who have done pretty much exactly what I've done, meaning left their careers, left their homes, sold their possessions, vehicles, whatever, completely changing their lives. Ooh, lots of us. Yeah. So I thought that was quite interesting as well. The more people I talk to in the group get into real, in-depth conversation, the more commonalities there are of not just, oh, you like this too, or you like that. Oh, you are also in the middle of radically changing your whole life. Oh, cool. Let's talk about that. So, anyway, yeah. There is one last thing I wanted to share. And for anyone who practices meditation, and I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. For anyone who practices meditation, we learned in philosophy today that yoga, doing yoga, so well, let me back up a second. So think of meditation in general. Think of meditation like it's a temple. Okay? A temple, a physical building, in other words. Yoga is the foundation of that temple. Yeah. So there's at least one of you who's going to hear that and be like, no, I'd probably say all kinds of things. But yeah, once I heard our teacher say that, I was like, yes, it is, because you like doing meditation alone without clearing all of the muck out of your body, your physical body, you're not going to get the full benefits of meditation. So there you have it. Just that last little gem that I wanted to throw out there. So, I mean, according to yogic philosophy, yoga is basically the answer to life. So, which, yeah, I don't disagree. Actually, the more and more I learn about it and the more I'm doing it, I mean, it's overwhelming in a good way. Just how profound it is to be so in tune with who you are as a person, as a consciousness, through the practice of yoga. So anyway, yeah, I think I've gone on for long enough now. This is actually, I think, the longest video that I've made yet. So there you have it. Thank you so much for being here with me. This was definitely a very deeply personal video, so I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks a lot. I'll see you tomorrow.